All right, without further ado, I will get started. So welcome everyone and thank you for attending this training. This is for the 2021-22 Estimate of Membership and Revenue Data Collection. This is going to be very similar to the one I did last year for the 2021 data collection. Just updated slides, as well as IT has updated the look and feel of the data collections. It just looks a little more modern, I guess. But all the elements are the same, so really nothing has changed. Really, this training is for new business managers. If you've been with the school district in the business office, or you submit data for your school district, this is a good training for you guys, and hopefully you find it beneficial. Some of the goals of the presentation today is we're going to look at how to access the collection and where to get additional help, what you do with your charter data, an explanation of the collection fields, different errors that I see submitted to the data collection, such as, too many numbers entered in is typically the big one, or I've seen some districts completely forget to enter in an entire school, elementary school or something like that. So, and then how to submit that data collection and what to do if you find errors in your data collection after the fact, when you can make updates and things like that. Does anybody have any questions before we get into this? I'm trying to look for the chat. Okay. So before we get started, a couple links that you should have access to are these district website links, and this is the Consolidated Collection student level user guide, as well as the institution level user guide. Those are good references or resources for looking up specific issues that you may have. Really with the estimate of membership and revenue, it's pretty straightforward. So you really won't have to reference those, I don't think, with this particular data collection. So the 2021-22 estimate of membership and revenue, you can access material on the schedule of due dates, and I have the site there. You will see on the schedule of due dates that it opened a couple weeks ago, October 22nd, and closes January 8th. I did extend that past the typical date. It usually closes the end of December, but I figured with everything going on right now, having some grace and leniency, some extra time for you guys to get that data to us is important. This is probably the most important data collection you will submit for your funding at your school. So we want to make sure that you have time to do that and that it's accurate data that you're submitting. Now keep in mind, when the data collection closes, that is not the final dead end date. I do allow changes throughout the school year of your data collection, but you have to keep in mind of the timing of when I post estimates, or I say I'm going to post estimates, and when other things are due, such as your monthly state school fund payment. I'm not going to post an estimate a couple days before a payment comes out and rebalance the state school fund. So we try to time these things in a way that is most logical and productive and keeps the state school funding pretty level throughout the year. We don't like to have these big swings throughout the year that's unpredictable and causes unneeded stress for you guys. So yeah, if you have any questions in regards to that, feel free to reach out. So how do you access the data collection? You go to your district website and you log in with your username and password. If you have never logged into the consolidated collections, you'll need to reach out to your IT admin and they will be able to get you read-write access to submit data. If they cannot help you or you don't have an IT admin for whatever reason, you can reach out to our ODE help desk and they can get you set up with an account. So first you want to log in, then you access the consolidated collections under the applications there. You want to click on that link. Then from the institution collections bar, you want to scroll down to the estimate of membership and revenue 21-22 and select submission maintenance. Before you submit your data, obviously you're going to compile all of the data elements that you need for the data collection. So you're going to want to keep in mind that your charter school numbers should be combined with the rest of the district's data. So that means all their enrollment numbers that they're projecting or estimating for next school year, you want to be able to total those up within your total district enrollment. Most school districts have full day K now, so that's that little reminder about full day kindergarten is kind of irrelevant. But let's see. So once you have your data selected, you go and choose your school identifier. So for this school district, you should just have your one school in there, or your district name in there. And then here's the collection itself. If you're new to this, the layout pretty much goes that you have your local revenues at the top, then your ADM or your enrollment numbers in the middle there, and then down at the bottom you have your transportation estimates and your high cost disability estimates. So with the local revenue, you can see that you're submitting updates for the 2021 school year and you're forecasting for next year. And the same goes for your transportation. Down there in section 3, you're updating your transportation costs for this year and forecasting for next year. You may not have all of these local revenue sources. A lot of school districts don't have state managed timber or federal forest fees. So there's no need to come up with a number for those. Obviously, you would just leave those blank or put a 0 in there. Property taxes, make sure that you include penalties and interest and any prior property taxes in there. Federal forest fees, we know that federal forest fees are kind of hard to predict. I did just look at the Forest Service website and found that this year or last year, that the government did reenact the federal forest fees. And so you should have funding moving forward. We just don't know really how much that's going to be. So you may want to be kind of conservative with this estimate and knowing that you can make adjustments later in the year. County school fund and state managed timber, those are pretty straightforward. I know, again, state managed timber is hard to predict. Those districts that do have state managed timber understand that the volatility of that market and how you may not be able to predict exactly what you're going to receive. I know Tillamook, they have a lot of state managed timber revenues that come in late in the game, and so they have to make adjustments to their estimate later on in the year to ensure that they're getting proper state funding. So the excess ESD revenue there, that is not revenues ESD provides in lieu of services, okay? And then your local option taxes, I'm sure many of you know you can pass the local option bond. However, those don't come into play in the state school fund. We do just track those for other purposes, federal reasons, things like that, federal reporting reasons. Student membership is the next section there. If you have full day kindergarten, make sure you're counting that at a full-time level. If you are going to offer half-time programs, make sure you're accounting for that as well. Again, make sure you're including your charter numbers and your enrollment data there. If you have changes, as you get more information, make sure that you're contacting me and asking to open up your data collection so you can update your estimate. So how this typically works is sorry about that. How that typically works is you'll submit your data initially, and then I post an estimate the first Monday in March. And that's when you start your budget cycle for next year. And so then you will have that estimate. And typically we allow districts to make changes to that up until the middle of June. And then we'll post that final estimate towards the end of June, which we'll base your state school fund payment on for July, September, October, or July, August, September, October, November, December. Typically, we post a new estimate there, January, December, January timeframe. So in the meantime there, you want to be able to update your estimates, reach out, and I will open up your collection. And then again, we update in March with a new estimate. So your transportation costs, something to keep in mind with this is you want to make sure that you're including all your eligible transportation costs, and I will apply the ratio. So you want to include new buses, your bus garages, payroll, things like that. Include your total amount in there, and then I'll apply the 70, 80, or 90% reimbursement once I do the calculation. The high cost disability grant, the best predictor of your future costs is to just use your past year's actuals, is what I recommend. I know districts have different ways of forecasting this, and by all means, use what's best for you. But typically, I'll tell districts to just use your previous year's estimates or your previous year's actuals. Okay, so something I wanted to show you guys, let's see if this works, is this spreadsheet that I created last year, and I don't know if anybody used it last year, but I wanted to show you guys again. Essentially what this does is I took all of the data from your last year's estimates here, as well as your high cost, and then created a spreadsheet that kind of looks like the data collection. And so what this does is you essentially go to the select your district here, and we'll take Bend Pine, and it'll change your previous year, this orange column, F. It will adjust that to whatever your previous year's estimate is. So essentially, what this does is just kind of gives you an idea of what the change is year over year and estimate over estimate. So that way that you have something Just another tool to use, really. Maybe it's beneficial, maybe it's not. I know a lot of people use Forecast 5 as well as other tools. And so I just wanted to make this for those smaller districts that maybe don't have Forecast 5 access or other tools available to them. And this spreadsheet here is available on the schedule of due dates link that was on the previous slide. Is there any questions about this spreadsheet or the data collection entry page?
Hey, Adam, it's Lindsay. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, there's a couple people that want to make sure they get a copy of your slides and the links in your spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I'm just going to check, see if you're going to email that out when you're done here.
Yeah, I see Debbie and Paul
Okay,
both would
great.
like that. Thank you, Lindsay. Appreciate
Thanks.
that. I burnt my tongue on my coffee this morning. So
Oh, no.
if it sounds like I'm chewing on my tongue while I'm talking, that's why. So that's kind of cool. Good way to start the week. Okay. So once you've submitted your data, you want to go in and click the Save button. It's that simple. So you've entered your data, you click Save. That's going to upload it to the ODE data collections. And you will still be able to make corrections up until the close date. And at that time, I'll close it down. I'll import all the data. I'm going to do my analysis and reach out to those districts that I see big flagrant errors. That way I can open up the collection, we could get that corrected and get the analysis done on my end first. And then those of you, I'll probably have another window open again, like I said, before March, that first Monday in March, and to update your estimates. That way we get a really, really, really good estimate for you guys. You can see there that the cancel button will erase your entered data and you'll have to re-enter it. So a few things to note. These are typical errors that I see. Make sure you enter your data in every field. Except for, obviously, like I said, if you don't have that local revenue, such as federal forest fees or something, you don't necessarily need to enter anything in there, but it will just be converted to a 0. Make sure you're properly counting kindergartners. Submit 100% of your estimated eligible transportation costs. I'll take care of the rest. Watch those zeros. What that means is that when you submit your data, there's no commas or decimals. Actually, I think there may be decimals now, but it's hard to type in too many digits in there. And I've seen many times where you accidentally enter in 30 million instead of 300,000. And so, as you can imagine, that would be a pretty big impact to your state school fund. So the best way to combat that is, once you've submitted your data, is do a collection summary report, which I'll show you guys here on the next slide. Use your 1920 high cost actuals for your 21-22 estimates. Charter data should be included with the rest of your district data. So to submit a report, that way you can verify what you submitted is what you wanted to submit, is you go to the reports tab. There you can see right below that dark blue line. And then you want to select the estimate of membership and revenue collection. The consolidated collection column would be the 21-22. And then you want to do a collection summary, or you can do a production download. It really doesn't matter. They're very similar reports. Both of them will be a Excel spreadsheet, and you can compare it to what you had documented that you wanted to enter to what was actually submitted to ODE. And this is very important for you to do. Again, if you have any technical issues, you need access, for whatever reason you're not seeing that data collection, you don't have access to it, then we need to get a hold of your district IT admin, or like I said, you can contact our ODE help desk. Right here is the contact info, and then here is my contact info. And I know that was pretty quick. It was only about 20 minutes. I know that sometimes districts have questions on how to forecast your property taxes. How do we forecast our transportation? If you want to stick around, now would be a good time to discuss that. It's good to hear other districts' opinions on these things because I think that similar districts have similar issues. And so if you guys can talk these things through rather than just hearing what I'm seeing at a state level, it's definitely beneficial for you guys. So I'll stick around for 10, 15 minutes or so and see if anybody else wants to chat. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving and thank you for attending. Those of you still on, I will be sending the documents to you guys if you're requesting it in the chat here. And I will send it to whatever email address I have on hand. Nicole, where can we watch this recording? I will be posting it to the YouTube. So you'll be able to access that through the training link on the district website. And I'll try to make a note to send that to you. Well, I'll just send it to the business manager listserv. That sounds better. If the data collection says read only, that does mean that you do not have access to it. So you will need to contact your system administrator to gain access to that. Otherwise, if you don't have that personal contact, you can reach out to our ODE help desk.